Welcome to Steph's World, the world according to Steph. This is Love and Light, Truth 22. All right, Truth 22. See, I change things around a little bit so that I don't have 125, I think it's easier that way. Okay. I got a good one today, and by the way, I want to wish everyone happy 4th of July in the United States. I know some people probably don't feel like it's that worth celebrating, but my son died for this country, and if you are able to celebrate, I would like you to think about him and all the other young men and women that have passed for their country. And today is a tough day for me. And that brings me to what I need to talk about: acceptance. I have to accept that my child, who loved this holiday, is no longer here. I have to accept that I am so physically disabled. There is nothing in this life that I can really enjoy other than trying to write and read. But I can't go to the beach, and I can't go swimming, and I can't do a lot of things. But I'm not going to focus on the I can'ts. We talked a little bit about some of this in Trials and Tribulations. If you don't think it's not easy, guess again. It's very difficult to stay in the right place. Very difficult. But the most difficult is losing my little boy. Now, he wasn't such a little boy when he passed, but he was always my little boy. Matt was 34 when he died. But anyway, he loved his country, loved it dearly, and that was why he joined the Army a month after 9/11. A month. And didn't tell any of us, just joined. But we were all there for his signing in. Every one of us who were close to him and loved him dearly. Anyway, and 9 years later he passed. And he was a hero because he was the one that got hurt when the helicopter came down. But he was in charge, and he had to make sure all the rest of them were safe. And he did. He did. Okay. Now I'm going to read something about acceptance that I think is just phenomenal. It was written by a doctor. And this doctor is dead now. But he had years and years of problems. A doctor now, a regular doctor. He had years of problems with drugs and alcohol. Yeah, many, many, many years. But he wrote something that was just amazing, and it was a wake-up call for me. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. I accept life completely on life's terms. I cannot be happy if I don't. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. That's right. You know, the first time my back broke, I was in severe, severe, severe pain. Because the doctors, I don't know why I couldn't tell them how badly I hurt, but I had issues with communications with doctors, and I still do today. But it was very difficult for me to tell them that how much pain I was in. Very difficult. And so they would put me on medicine, and then I would be allergic to it, and that was even worse. So it was a rough going about 15 years ago. 20 years ago is when it happened, but it was very rough going. Very rough going. And I did have spiritual advisors back then. I've talked about that a lot. Those are people that have come into my life and helped me on a spiritual level get through life, taught me things that I needed to be taught. And I'm very lucky. I'm extremely lucky that I had that. It is the greatest gift that I could ever have received from my Creator. Now I want to say one thing about that too. I am not of any religion. I accept whatever religion you're in. I am with God, my Creator. And that is my belief. I read the Bible. I read all kinds of holy books. And I just want to clarify that's how I feel about it. Okay. Now, what this man wrote was absolutely amazing, and it was definitely something I had to read every day for a while when I was going through the first broken back. One of my spiritual advisors said to me, Steph, don't ask why. Just say, why not me? Meaning that I had been picked. That there was a reason for me to be like that. That I was seen amazingly, it seemed that I was able to handle the pain and the difficulties that came with it. And believe me, it certainly wasn't easy. And now my lower back is broken again. Now my neck was broken many years ago, and but they didn't fuse it until after they fused my lower back. I lived with my neck. It healed, but not correctly. And that's why they had to fuse almost every single level except the very top, which is C1. And you don't want that one fused. You have that one fused and you'll be in a brace for the rest of your life, and you'll have to be taken care of. And I don't want to live like that. But anyway, so now I'm at another crossroads in my life. More acceptance. I must accept my broken back again. And it's pretty bad this time. It's a little even worse than it was before. Because they tried to fix it, and it failed. So now I need to go to the Mayo Clinic, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. But it's very painful, and I can hardly walk. I drag my feet with the canes in my house, and when I go anywhere, I usually use a wheelchair. But even sitting in the wheelchair is a challenge. It hurts tremendously. The pressure of the top part of my body on my lower back is just horrible, horribly painful. And so I have to have the wheelchair brought back and then have at least one leg extended, and sometimes both. And I hate sitting in a doctor's office or something like that in that state. I just hate it. I really do. But I must accept it. It's life. Life in the big city, as I used to say. I came from the big city. I know all about them. Absolutely. Okay. So that's a great definition of acceptance. And by the way, I just want to apologize. We do have a lot of people that have motorcycles in where I live, and it's 4th of July, so they're all out doing their thing. And, you know, I understand that, because it wasn't that long ago that I actually rode a motorcycle, believe it or not, even with all the things that were wrong with me. I put 2 extra wheels on my motorcycle, on my Harley Davidson, and that's how I did it. So not bad, huh? Pretty good thinking? Yeah. It wasn't even my idea, but it was a great idea. And it worked. It worked. Now, after a while, the things kind of got difficult on the certain roads, the way that they had the grooves and everything. So it actually was a little dangerous for me to go on certain highways, so I had to start taking the back roads. But the point is, I didn't let my problems in my physical world stop me from something that I loved to do. I accepted that I had to have those extra wheels. I accepted that I could no longer go to the gym and work out and have really strong arms, although I did, because when you do a motorcycle, especially a Harley, you're doing this with your hands, and believe me, that's exercise. So my arms were pretty built. And I never even realized it until I saw a picture that my brother took of me one day when I was at his house, and I looked at it and I went, oh my goodness, I guess my arms have really built up. But anyway, so acceptance is tough. It's hard to accept when you're married and your husband doesn't come around and see his children anymore. That's tough. Been there. But you know what? I had to accept it. I had no choice. What other choice did I have? Could I go ranting and raving through my house and upset my family? Would that have been the right thing to do? No. I did do that for like a year, and I upset my children, and when I saw how much I upset them, that's when it stopped. That's when I realized that that was out of my control. What that person did was out of my control. And there's a saying that everybody knows about, I'm sure, what goes around comes around, which people call karma. Okay? What goes around comes around. Well, he's pretty lucky right now because my daughter, our daughter, that's the only surviving child that he and I have left, because it was our son who died. I have another son from a previous relationship, but unfortunately, something is wrong in our relationship, and I don't quite know what that is, but that's something else I have to accept. I have not heard from him for a long time. Doesn't make sense, but I have to accept it. At any rate, so my life is full of acceptance. How about that, huh? I don't have choices in this. Either I accept it or I become a screaming little wild person or medium-sized wild person going crazy. And I'm not going to do that. I will not let it overcome me. I will not let my desires that can't happen become unacceptable. I will not do that. So, living with legs that barely work and a back that hurts like it's going to, well, I can't even describe it, but it doesn't matter. The point is that there's a reason for it, and it's something that I have to live with. There are no medical solutions that I know of, and even if they were, I'm 60, almost 61 years old, so frankly, I don't know if I could handle any serious operations right now. I have other issues too. I have seizures. Those are some of my other medical problems. And I wake up throughout the night after having a terrible seizure where I can barely even stand on my feet with the help of my canes. My feet are so torn up from, and my legs from the seizures that I can barely make it into the bathroom. They're pretty serious. And that's that's probably from my brain aneurysm that I had around 2008. Yes, I had a brain aneurysm. A lot has happened to me. A lot. But you know what? I have to accept it. Right? I have to accept it. What other choice do I have? Now, I can accept it and be angry, or I can accept it and be a butterfly. I loved this shirt. It's pretty cool, isn't it? A friend of mine actually picked it out for me. She really liked it. She thought it would be cute on me. You know, I feel that I have accepted everything. And when new things happen to me, because they do, it doesn't just stay stagnant the whole time. There's always something new that comes around. It never fails. And it's like, oh, okay, I have a new challenge. How about that? So, I have to accept it. As he said, I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. Yeah, I gotta have a good attitude, and that's all there is to it. And so I try, and I work at it. And I honestly think that I do. I don't think too many of my friends down here where I live have ever seen me not have too bad an attitude. Occasionally I'll shed a tear when the pain is very bad, but only occasionally. Okay, I want to read you something from Emmett Fox. Oh, I love Emmett. I just love him. He's one of my favorites. Now, we're on the Beatitude about blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Now, this is almost out of juice, so I gotta hurry. Okay. Now, he says, waste no more time repining for what is over and done, but make the present and the future a splendid realization of your heart's desire. Is there remorse for mistakes past and gone? Then remember that remorse, as distinct from repentance, is merely a form of spiritual pride. To revel in it, as some people do, is treason to the love and forgiveness of God, who says, behold, now is a day of salvation. Behold, I make all things new. In this beatitude, Jesus tells us not to be discouraged because we do not overcome everything at once, because our progress seems to be slow. If we are not making any progress at all, then we cannot be praying in the right way, and it is for us to find out why. By examining our lives and by praying for wisdom and guidance, indeed, we should constantly pray for wisdom and guidance and for the living action of the Holy Spirit upon us. That the quality of our prayers, our prosperity, may constantly increase. But if we are moving, if things are improving, although not very quickly it may be, we have no need to be discouraged. We need only to work on steadily, and provided we are truly wholehearted in our efforts, provided that it is to say that we really are hungering and thirsting for righteousness, then at last we shall surely be filled. It could not happen that a wholehearted search for truth and righteousness, if preserved in, should not be crowned with success. God is not mocked, nor does he mock his children. And then it goes to the next one, which I'm not going to say right now. Some of you probably already know. And we'll be on that. We're going to be starting that. It just seems like I don't decide what I'm going to talk about. I really don't. I meditated for an hour before I did this. An hour. And I just knew. It just came to me. I knew what I needed to talk to you about today. Acceptance. You know, the rest of this day I'm going to be thinking about my son and remembering those times in his childhood and his teenage years when he was so excited on 4th of July, and he couldn't wait to get as many bottle rockets and all the other stuff he got, and we would do that out on the street by our front yard, and it was wonderful. Just wonderful. My son was so happy. So I'm going to think about his happiness today. I'm not going to dwell on losing my child. Not today. So I want to wish you all a wonderful 4th of July. And I love you. And I hope you have a great time. A wonderful time. And in spirit, I'll be with you. So I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.